Welcome to Gasket, Gauges, and Gossip. This is your ultimate motorsports and automotive sleepover. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, because the engines are running. Hello, darlings. Welcome back to Teacups N Tyres, where every lap begins with a perfect brew. My Mirrorless with the horsepower, elegant, and just the right amount of edge. The sleepover queen, Blair Waldorf, would even MD. I am TNT, and tonight we sip, spill, and sparkle. Perfect, yes, I am back. I know I said I wouldn't be back until I got my school and life straight, but the motorsports, automotive industry, all this is like crack to me, so obviously I would be back. So here I am. So I do know for a fact that this will be my last good deal of the season unless something crazy happens tonight, well, not tonight, later on this morning at the GP, but I'm not holding my breath because that's a pipe dream. But I'm still nervous because it is 2 a.m. when I am. My calendar says at 3-something F2 is happening, and at like 7 a.m. F1 is happening. But my grandma is helped me get this up and published before the start of the final GP of the season. Like I said, I've taken a break from everything motorsports and automotive. But even though I'm taking a break, my ear is still to the ground on what's happening. Not only like this, I would like to give a more thought out process. I have a script, I do my research, but it's late and I just kind of want to get my thoughts across, so that's why it's in the late night chats and videos. Okay, enough of me rambling and stupid background. Let's just get straight into this morning's topic. The first topic I want to talk about is that Lewis Hamilton is washed. Now, I got this post off of Reddit that when I was scrolling through my daily news, I actually saw this news heading and I thought that something had really happened. And so I'm definitely leaving a bombastic side eye to the person who wrote it. Obviously, I know marketing top and down, so I get that the post was to click engagement, but this was the most stupidest post. It was because it was a mandatory practice that another person had to sub in. Well, like I said multiple times, I do not have a favorite driver. I could care less who was the GP. I just like it because I like the sport, I like cars, whatever. I just think it's funny how when the topic of being rash comes up, it's only SHL. Can somebody explain this to me? Is there something that I am missing? That when we're talking about rash drivers, it's only SHO. Alonso is 3 years older than SHO. And no one's calling you washed. It's the car. It's bad management. Goods lead into next year. I'm not understanding. I'm tired. Like I said, this is 3 a.m. and I'm looking at this picture right now and I'm realizing that it looks like there's no I. It's CHIOD. That's how you spell it. It should crude out. So, long story short, it's a German inside joke because Toru is fog with shield in literal English translation. So, and this is pretty much saying, yeah, I'm German. Make dreaming 101, Murph with it, Murph works just squished together to make work. Remember, that's just how it is. It always reminds like Krankenwagen, the sick wagon, and the ambulance. So, it is what it is. But long story short, all that is saying that I will not tolerate any German slander on your channel. But if I'm gonna have to criticize my own people, why isn't Vikla Valkenburg considered washed? And I'm saying this with respect to Hulkenberg, because as soon as you got that podium, I started playing the German national anthem. It was a sense of pride for the Vaterland, and yeah, but why is he not in the same conversation as being washed? And I can talk to him at the beginning, but I'm not going to waste my time of putting Stroll's picture on here, because we already know where he stands. But like I said, if we're talking about people who are last that need to leave the sport, why are we not using all these names? I'm also giving a bombastic side eye to the people that are like, but Williams is doing good, Sainz is doing great. Yeah, he had a little testing season with the team, if I'm not mistaken. And if you were looking at it, the Williams car was already on this up and up. And also, at last hit, I have a terrible time pronouncing that word. But do you really think they would come to a car that they couldn't at least get some points out of this season? You have to be kidding me. Well, I'm looking at everybody across the table, because I'm also looking at Tifosi and people that are SHO, like diehard fans. Did you guys really think he was going to come into his first year and just be wonderful? I think that's ridiculous. So I believe, but like I said, I'm needless to but I believe everybody should have a full testing season at a full year to work with their car. And so players agree SHL has been working with Mercedes to build his car, so why would he not do the same thing with Ferrari? So now, in next season, if he comes from testing and actually getting a new team and all this, then he still kind of sucks? Okay, then maybe we can say he's old. But right now, I don't think it's a fair assessment. You might comment somebody gets number 8. Yeah, because I was there. Abu Dhabi 2021, I saw that aftermath. That was terrible, so I am hoping for a redemption arc. But anyway, like I was saying, give them a year. If SHO can't do it the next year after he's been on the ground for a full year, then we can have this conversation. But until then, leave him alone. And Powder talking about bullying divers, being rude to divers, saying mean things to them, actually probably wouldn't say to them their faces. That's wrong. What's wrong with everybody being mean to Timmy Antonelli? What if you do to anybody? I totally get that 18's in a worldwide, but if you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s plus, and are bullying an 18-year-old, you are the problem. Now, a lady never tells her age, but I'm in my late 20s, early 30s. And I don't even talk back to 20-year-old. So why would you be bullying an 18-year-old? But like, I can't even imagine myself at my big age yelling or arguing or saying something rude to an 18-year-old. Like, I'm not even entertain somebody under 25. So maybe that's just me, but I digress. She still shouldn't be bullying any of a driver. I don't care if it's Verstappen or SHO or Tsunoda. Just leave it alone. I thought this was the perfect segue because speaking of Tsunoda, yeah, he's out. And I really don't know what to say, but this is what I said in May. So first things first, thank God for that halo because that crash was terrifying to watch, and I'm glad that Tsunoda is okay and walked away from it. So really happy that he landed upright and was able to get out of his car by himself. That's always a good sign because, we know crashes can be terrible in this sport. So my hope for today race that is Tsunoda's in a clear mind and is ready to race and is safe, and I hope that he gets a few spots and he outplaces Colapinto. You know, that is what I said biblically. In my mind, I knew that it wasn't looking good for the man. It honestly was a bad sign, and the second seed is always a bad sign. But now, to prove my point further, I also said this in the same video. Switches should not happen in season or between races, and it should not happen in between teams. And I'm talking to you, Mini-Me RB. The only time switches on teams should happen is A, in a case of emergency, and then only the reserve driver for that team should be able to race, or B, if it happens during the silly season during summer break. So as much as I like and don't have a favorite person, I am still rooting for Tsunoda, but that switch with Lawson should have never happened, and if it was to happen, it only should have happened during summer break. And going by my own rules, technically that switch should have never happened because they're on two different teams, and Tsunoda is not a reserve driver for the main RB Racing, so why was that switch able to happen? Honestly, to me, RB and Honda were being petty because they didn't want to give Tsunoda the second seat or to pay the contract at the beginning of the season, so midway through he should switch to a sister team. If RB really wanted Tsunoda, they should have made him a reserve driver for the main RB team instead of the one-spot driver from the Mini-Me team, because then it would make sense if he moved up. Honestly, I really don't think Tsunoda should have switched, because, I mean, being a number 1 in your spot or going to number 2 in the higher RB team, I don't know. I just really would put more respect on his name. And I am not sure of the rules of F1 completely, but when you look at it, that means RB as a team as a whole has 8 full drivers to choose from. So should the other teams. Another thing I don't understand is why can RB keep changing the rules when it fits them, but doesn't work for everybody else? Everybody else on the grid has only 4 drivers to choose from. They have 8, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. But I do wish Tsunoda the best and well, and I do really hope he gets the contract and the pay raise that he deserves because RB's been playing with his emotions for how many seasons. On the topic of RB, it was clear with Perez and had an inkling, but this season confirms that RB is only making one car to beat Verstappen. And they seem to be just praying that the second driver can deal with it and shop. Because regardless of driving styles, it still should be equal machinery and that should be able to perform similarly. So I said I got it in May, but by the looks of it, I was not thinking that he would actually become the reserve driver of the main RB team. I definitely didn't see this part coming. I honestly thought after this bad season, they would give him another year. They would drop him back to the Mini-Me team, but they just totally took his spot. I feel bad for the guy. When it looks like some news ID post, like I don't have IG anymore, but I saw it on Reddit, that he hasn't given up his F1 dreams, and I'm wishing it on all of us. We're going to this year go next season's new second seat driver is Isaac Hadjar, and I saw these old pictures on Reddit, and I thought this was absolutely adorable that he's standing with these people and now he's driving with them as teammate. I don't know if it's the German in me or it's the having the military appearance. I'm looking at everybody with a Sada because why is he doing so much press tours? Not like I'm so confused why it's always press release happening right now in season. When I'm just a little curious by this because CNN, who doesn't really cover F1, maybe in their sports, but they had a main news article about his switch and things about him, which I find really odd. Now, does this mean that he's going to play the game? It can be a good second seat, like a Checo Perez type situation, and it's no work for him. I don't know. I am really scared though. But as a girl who is fighting her way to get in her own automotive sports industry dream job, whatever, I 100% feel for him, and I wish him all the best success in the world. The situation with I forgot what race it is, but like the rain out situation, and you felt so bad that Mr. Hamilton had to console him. I am really worried for this kid. Well, there's room to do hope that he has a good support team in Mr. Hamilton, that say Joe, his teammates, and his colleagues in F1 can really support him because I would hate to see Arby chew this kid up and spit him out. Been watching F1 since 2021. And if you have a person that since 2021 could say something is kind of being weird happening, come on. Someone's round at the second seat. That like I've always got those feelings, but Red Bull was kind of like underhandedly kind of shady. Because why did you have to announce it right before the last race? Like y'all could have waited. Y'all purposely did this, and that's just low. And then you have the nerve to use this cause. And then you have the nerve to say arigato. I think arigato masamas. Like, seriously? Like, this has been the most backhanded compliment I've ever seen in my life. Now, like I said, I don't have my nose to the ground for everything. So did they have, like, a thank you message in Spanish for Truck of Prez? Did they have a thank you message in, like, Australian slang for, what's his name, Lawson or wherever the dude's from? Actually, scratch what it said about Lawson because Lawson is still on the Mini-Me team as a #1 driver. So technically, he last a seat to somebody who's the #1 driver in the seat that he took so he can be the most relative driver so the #2 could be the #1 seat. Number two. Good about all this because, and I don't understand how well this is happening. Like I said in May, these teams should be disconnected from each other. There's not really these 8 teams or one team should have 8 drivers. This is ridiculous. Okay, and so I'm gonna get the time, and it's 4 a.m., and I still need to get this edited, uploaded before 7 a.m. my time so it can drop before the race. So let's get moving on to this race for the podium three-way tie thingy. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist for most things, and I don't have setups can happen in F1, excluding Abu Dhabi 2021. But it's interesting, but this is happening. Now, I did check the pole position, and Verstappen is on pole. So with everything coiled, he technically would win, correct? Would this opportunity still present himself if the McLarens weren't DQ'd that one race? So this is why I'm little suspect of something. And besides Harvey Verstappen and how he got in the mix, are we going to let the McLarens race? Because if we do let them race, I'm kind of hoping for Oscar Piastri to win something. I'm all for that. So if you guys can't tell, I'm definitely 100%. I always root for the underdog. So Oscar Piastri with a win, all for it. Oh, and for somebody else winning, just to throw everything off, that would be hilarious. Anyways, it's getting late. My voice is cracking. I still need to edit this. But yeah, those are my facts. And yeah, this season was interesting. Like this year has been mad. I've been right with SHO with how kind of Tampa issue has been, especially with me trying to get into this industry and schooling and everything. So I am hoping for a better season next year. I will see you guys next season, and hopefully I will be at True Grand Prix next season, if not 2 run, and I'll have my art room from when I went to Monza. Well, this sleepover is over. The tea has been spilled, the pillows are flattened, and there's really nothing left to say. Remember, as always, I'm just a girl with her mic, her teacups, and tires, just brewing the ultimate mix of style and speed, so I'll see you at the checkered flag.